am Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 52 of the regular season, where the Rangers win 6-3. How did that game end 6-3 over the Seattle Kraken? Good lord. This game was going 90 miles an hour at full kick. All of the wheels flew off simultaneously, and then it skirted to the finish line in an array of sparks and flames. But we won, so it's a positive. So before we talk about the game, yesterday, New York Rangers announce a massive trade. They go out and acquire one of the big names for the upcoming trade deadline, Vladimir Tarasenko and Niko Mikkola. So the Rangers give up a conditional first-round pick. The condition on the first-round pick was it is whichever one is later, whether it's the Rangers or Dallas's in the upcoming draft. A conditional fourth-round pick in the 2024 draft, Sammy Blais and Hunter Skinner. Now, the first-round pick is a thing. It's a first-round pick, and you hear that and you go, ooh, that's a big asset. Then you realize that the Stars might win the Western Conference, and the Rangers are seemingly primed to make another deep-ish playoff run. So it's going to be a late first round, probably early second, not early second round, but you know what I mean. It's going to be a late first rounder where people are like, oh, it's basically a second round pick. Hunter Skinner, just a prospect, and Sammy Blais, going back to the St. Louis Blues, meaning that the scars of the Pavel Buchnevich trade are nearly gone and out of our memories, other than the fact that Pavel Buchnevich is no longer a Ranger, but it's okay because now Vladimir Tarasenko is a Ranger. And that's the big name of the trade. Vladimir Tarasenko coming over to the New York Rangers. And you could tell immediately in this game that he brought a presence to the first line that we absolutely did not have. He and Panarin had beautiful, beautiful chemistry, and it was shown almost immediately in this game. But with this, you're bringing in a player who multiple times has scored over 30. I know has scored 40 at least once. It might be twice. A highly talented player who for the past few seasons has played either injury-riddled or on the 2022-23 St. Louis Blues, so it doesn't really count. And then you have Niko Mikkola, and I'm not going to overhype a player, right? He is not going to reinvent the wheel as like a sixth defenseman. But that's what he is. He's a sixth defenseman. I thought he was a very mixed bag tonight. Played a really good first period, I thought, actually. A couple of big hits. Was perfectly cromulent as, again, your sixth defenseman on your third pair. He was fine. He would commit 3 penalties tonight, and I think at most he should have committed 1. 2 kind of soft-ish calls, and then the puck over the glass that was not a delay of game penalty. It went off of the shaft of a stick, and side note, credit to the referee, who would then, after the penalty was over with, skate over to the Rangers bench and apologize to Gerard Gallant. More of that in hockey, more of that in all of sports. The guts and gall it took for that referee to do that, bravo, sir. Back to Niko Mikkola, you're just bringing in depth, and if you can get anything out of it, if you can get serviceable play, just a consistent presence as your sixth defenseman, that's even better, because, oh boy, the big name of it paid dividends on the second shift of the game for him. On just the second shift of the night for the first line, there is a turnover in the neutral zone by Donato. Artemi Panarin gets it way to the right-hand boards, carries in. He was looking pass all the way here. Beautiful feed to Vladimir Tarasenko, 5-hole. The Rangers have the 1-0 lead within the first 3 minutes, and Vladimir Tarasenko, in his Ranger debut, scores a goal. It was magical tonight. That is the best way I would describe this evening, was just magical. Until the third period. The third period wasn't that magical. Just a few minutes after the Rangers make it 1-0, a pretty solid neutral zone play by Adam Fox. Gets it to Alexis Lafreniere. He carries in, passes it to Kakko, passes back to Lafreniere. Centering pass for Hedl. Beautiful pass to Kakko, who would slip behind like 3 Seattle defenders. Beautiful tip in, and the Rangers have a 2-0 lead. Then, late in the first period, Rangers with offensive zone possession. Kreider has it along the board, somehow gets a pass out and to Vincent Trocheck. He moves to the net, takes a shot on it, and it's just kind of trickling through Martin Jones. And instead of skating around the net or moving, he was just sit and wait, being a lovely little crease rat. Goalies hate your type of person there, Trocheck. But puck slips through. Trocheck gets sort of his own rebound. Is it a rebound if it goes behind the goalie but not in? Regardless, scores, and the Rangers have a 3-0 lead out of the first period. holy lord, the Rangers looked good. And that's the wildest part about the game tonight, which is the Rangers scored 6 goals, 5 of them were on a goaltender. It's a miracle they didn't score more. I mean, legitimately, how many high danger chances or looks or just straight up shots did the Rangers get tonight? Martin Jones, I'm not going to say had a great game or anything. I'm not even going to say he had a good game. That being said, a lot of goalies, this is like a 10-1 slaughter. I forgot to mention at the end of the first period, but Seattle does take a penalty. The Rangers are on a power play at the end of the first period and the start of the second period. And Trocheck with a shot on net, rebound, and Jacob Trouba, who was deep in the offensive zone. I don't think I've ever seen him score from that deep in the offensive zone, but there it is. It's 4-0. And side note, Jacob Trouba saying it's a power play goal the way he did after scoring that is just... If you somehow still had doubts of Jacob Trouba as the captain of this team, that is the love that he has for this franchise. You can clearly see. But alas, it is not all happy and fun, because about a minute later, Oliver Bjorkstrand, with a little bit of a breakaway, kind of gets a shot off on net, and it gets past Igor Shesterkin. Igor Shesterkin is the living embodiment of puck don't lie, because he will allow a muffin goal from like 50 feet out. I know this was not a muffin goal from 50 feet out, but just a not good goal to allow and then make a bonkers ridiculous save, which in this case would be this not great breakaway goal to Bjorkstrand, and then about a minute or so later, just a ridiculous left pad save that he had no business getting anything on, but yet does because... well, I mean, the puck don't lie. Credit to Bjorkstrand for being in the right place at the right time. He would get a goal there. I'm not taking anything away from him, but from Shesterkin, and again, I know it was a breakaway, you'd love a save on that one. The rest of the second period plays out, and Seattle will get a couple of power plays, but eventually you head to the third period, and early on, about 3 minutes in, the Rangers are on a power play, a beautiful pass, Kreider over to Mika Zibanejad, big slapper, scores, and it's 5-1 Rangers in the third period. We're good. We can relax, we can take a breath, oh my god. But then Seattle's on a power play with about 6 minutes gone in the period, and Jared McCann, gorgeous slap shot. Perfectly placed. There was a screen in front. There might have even been a little bit of a tip on this one, but just, that was a missile, perfectly placed. Igor was in a fine position. This isn't like he screwed up or anything. This was just a unreal shot from Jared McCann, and it's 5-2, but it's okay. Oh god. 22 seconds later, Brendan Tanev breaks in backhand 5-hole, and it's 5-3. There's still like 14 minutes left in the game, and all of a sudden, that 5-1 lead is kinda sketch. Then there was the bad penalty on the delay of game by Mikkola, and I'm like, oh boy, here it comes! But Ryan Lindgren getting his first goal of the season on the empty net, thankfully, prevents the Rangers from just getting, buried online. Just found this gem on Twitter. After the game, Artemi Panarin was asked about the third period, and his response was, quote, "It's the Rangers." I mean, that is perfectly said. Now, my overall thoughts for the game is the offense was immaculate. They looked great. The first line of Panarin, Zibanejad, and Tarasenko looked incredible. They had good chemistry after one game. And it wasn't like, oh, at the third period they started to build up chemistry, but for the first two they were... No. From the first shift they were together, they had good chemistry. That line has absolutely no limit on how good they could be. The kids line as well, kicking incredibly dope shit. They look great. Alexis Lafreniere is playing with confidence. Capo Caco is playing with confidence. Filip Chytil is playing with confidence. They look great together. The chemistry they have is immaculate. Please, for the love of God, don't split them up. Kreider and Trocheck continue to have good chemistry. The third line looks good. The fourth line is a grinder line. Is great. I don't recall the fourth line ever being on the ice, and I know I'm just blissfully misremembering it, but they had to have like a combined 7 seconds of total ice time together. The top three lines look absolutely fantastic. The top 9, chef's kiss. Just keep those lines and ride the season out. The defense, I honestly thought was pretty alright. Outside of like penalty kills, I didn't feel Seattle had too many high danger shots. There were a couple of times where either line changes or just miscommunications obviously came to bite us on the first goal and the third goal. I didn't think the defense played terrible tonight. They could definitely be better, but I'm going to chalk it up to, God willing, a fluke. I honestly can see all three of the pairings being good. Even Mikko Nicola, I think he cleans up the penalties. But no rest for the Rangers, as I assume they gather up their new friends and head to the plane, because tomorrow night in Carolina they take on the Hurricanes at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but that's all I have to say for the evening. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.